Howdy friends, welcome back to the House of Tone. Today is number 2 in the series on the Adolphe Saxhorn Cornet. We're going to jump into some dent work. Let's go. Today I'm going to be using what we call the nose picker. We made these in school. I'll take some close-up shots, or Miss Kay will take some close-up shots. They're radiused. It's just a piece of steel that you can pick up locally, and you cut away everything that doesn't look like a dent ball shape. This side has got one that's more punchy. This one's slower. It has more radius on it. And I grind these, and I've made these for 30 years. And I just love them. I make them out of different size stock. It's an easy, great project to do. This is the size of the ball that would normally go on a rod that would be used in this. I don't like this because it flexes so much. So I can get a bigger piece of steel, do the same kind of thing, make these very similar, and they have the same operation. This is much more rigid for what I want to do today. That's what I'm going to use. So I'm using a lot of home-built tools today. We're going to start, let's start right in here.
Okay.
What I found in my reading and messing with this old horn is that the brass, unlike that Slingerland bugle that we did, the brass was so hard. It's real soft. And that's why on the nose picker I'm using I would call it a slow side. I put a real punchy side, and I put one as a slow. And when you high polish that steel, like we did, and then put some of this good grease on it, my friend Bill Boyd would say, right here, he would say, that's slicker than owl poop. I always laugh. But it does feel good. And I really enjoy making my own tools as well. Okay, now we're going to work right back here on this. I'm just going to go easy, easy. And now we're on this one. All about controlling and the fulcrum. Got a little bit of a high spot right there. Gonna have to bring that down. I'm really not hitting it hard at all. Probably only raising the hammer maybe 1/4 of an inch off. Not even that, I don't think. The other thing I'm doing is where that brown, I actually hold it right here. And it's the head of the hammer is not making full contact because I'm stopping the handle with my hand. So it gets away from me and then comes back like this. Ever so soft. And you can almost hear the drag sounds as it cuts across. There appears to be a dent in the bell here. It looks like this was probably connected, probably soldered to the third casing, and there's a dent right there where it's broken away. I had not noticed that until just now. There's Mr. Collier's name engraved in the back of this. And then you see those 4 digits right there. Can you make those out? Anyway, I was talking to Mr. Collier, and he said, yeah, that his dad had engraved his name in there, and that was his driver's license number. That's what those 4 digits are, the driver's license number. Thought that was pretty interesting. These old things have some stories to tell, that's for sure. Okay, I'm going to raise up some low spot. Take care of all my known areas first, and then I'll go back to this. Normally I work from end to end. I'll either start at the bell rim and go to the bell tail, or I'll start at the bell tail and go to the bell rim. And this time I started in the middle. And the reason that I did that was because I don't know how the metal was going to react with me. It seems very soft, and I really wanted to have plenty of room to know what I'm working with. And with that elongated, the way I made the hump in the nose picker, it's touching much more surface area, so you can push up in different ways. Take broader strokes, I guess would be the way to say that. Nice straight light lines, that's what we like. So that's going to be good. I'll solder that back when we get to our soldering section. Okay, I'm going to grab a mouth pipe rod and get these out of this little lead pipe. I'm going to have to reference the pictures of that catalog again and see if I can make... This is bent down. I don't know if that was done from the factory. I know this has been resoldered. I wonder if this should be actually straight or should it be curved. I'm going to study the picture some more, but I'm going to get a dent rod, a mouth pipe mandrel, and get that. Yeah, good. But all of these look like they're going straight. once they don't have an angle to them. So we're going to make that straight. This is the damage that we're trying to undo. Someone has hammered somewhere along the way. This is dropped and hammered and really made a mess of this. We have to be careful because it's got a crack here. Miss K made this mold out of thermoplastic. She took from a section, this is the best of the bell flare section. So we're going to use just this. We put this lip on it to support behind this crack, because I think I'm going to have to tap on that. So a combination of handwork, something to push against as a molded form. The commercial ones made today don't fit this. We got the desired result. I was able to push all this back at the rim. That's up under that rim part right there. I was able to push all that back out. Now I can put it on a roller, blend all this, and then finally blend in this section. It worked. Well, all right, friends. I'm real happy with the way that the dent work is turning out on this. We have some more dent work to do back around the bow, but I'm very pleased with this. I'm very pleased with the way the flare came. So I'm going to stop here for today. I believe that my next thing is going to be making a patch to fit in the gap here. But so far the project is coming out really good. I've decided what I want to do on the mouthpipe, so when I do the soldering stuff, I'll get with that. So far so good. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.